Let's welcome my friend Levy to the platform this morning. So I got introduced to Levy last year, or earlier this year. My wife and I went on a compassion trip to the Dominican Republic, and Levy was one of our guides, and I was super convicted because he knew more about a whole country, and I still use Google Maps to get around Chandler. I was like, I don't love my city the same, but I'm gonna do better. But it was just amazing being able to meet him and so many others that live out there. And I wanted you to just take a moment and just share your story, who you are, where you're from.
Hello, as Pastor is saying, my name is Levy. It's great to be here. First time West Coast, so it's great to be here.
This isn't the coast. This is, don't let this ruin your, we're better than this.
First time being in Arizona, so it's great to be here. Well, I'm from the Dominican Republic. It's a great country, so that's great. So, you know, I saw her, I was like, I don't know why, but she looked kind of Dominican, so she.
Black people do the same thing at airports. If we see someone, we're like, what's up? I get it. I get it.
So I'm from Santo Domingo, and I'm this community called Villa Maria. So I grew up in a community. Well, I'm born in a family of two with my mom and my older brother, because my dad decided to leave the house when my mom was pregnant of me. I grew up in this community with drugs, prostitution, shooting, lacking of food, hopes, and it was hard because as a kid, it's hard to, normally as a kid you have hopes, you have dreams, you want to become a doctor, a policeman, or anything. And as my case as a kid, my only hope and dreams every day was if we are gonna be able to make it for the next day, if we are gonna be able to have food, or if we are just having one food once a day. And living that situation was hard actually as a kid, because I didn't have the permission to play outside. My mom, I will say Dominicans' mom are crazy, in a good way, but they're crazy. And because she was kind of a dictator, she was like, you have to do whatever I say, and there was no, I cannot ask why, because she will always.
I might be Dominican, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds like my childhood.
Yeah, it will be like, if I ask why, she would tell me because I'm saying that's it. Like, there's no any other reason. So, she didn't allow us to play that, to spend that much time outside, because she didn't want us to be influenced for all of what was, around us. And living that kind of situation was hard. It was a really small house, one living room. At the beginning, it was just one bed. Me, my mom, and my brother was sleeping over there. It was crazy. She barely slept because she was saying like we were kind of, especially me, kind of a ninja, moving and hitting her during the night. So she was living that kind of situation was hard. As a kid, I always say it was kind of normal because that was what I have been seeing as a kid, but I knew it was like something was not right. My dad is not home, and as a kid, I was kind of like, the reason we are living that kind of situation is because my dad is not here. I remember one of the hard things that I have to do was we took turns, my brother and I, to collect some glass of Coca-Cola butter and go to the grocery store and exchange for money to buy food. For me, it was hard because it was kind of, everybody go to a grocery store with money to buy. And I had to collect this glass of butter to get some money and buy some food. Me and the guy from the grocery store, we already have like an agreement. Let's wait, the place is empty to do it, because I was ashamed to do that in front of the people. It was really hard growing up during that environment and not having a dad at home.
So how did compassion come to play in your life?
So I started around 8-9 to the Compassion Center. Everything was great. My brother also was part of the Compassion Center. I remember our first bed because my brother's sponsor sent the money to buy a bed. In that case, they bought it for us like a bunk bed, I think you call it. And my mom was even happier than us. She was like, finally, I will be sleeping alone. So she was even happy seeing us. And things started changing. I started going to the Compassion Center. That was actually the church. So Compassion worked with churches. So started going to a church for me was not kind of new because I used to go to that church. So remember, I started going twice a week, and the main things that I love it over there was the food. Like I have lunch every day over there. And I remember one day my project director asked me, hey, why are you coming every day? You're supposed to come twice. She was like, I'm not telling you that you cannot come. She was like, why? And I was like, I love it. I'm just like to be here, spend time here, and I love it. But the main reason actually was food. I was like, I having food every day. I like to eat. I really love food. I really love it. And Dominicans, we make a lot of different food, and I always say rice, red beans, chickens. We call it the Dominican flat. And Russia salad. I don't know what we call it Russia, but we call it Russia salad. And all of that, having food every day at the Compassion Center at church was like, man, I love being here. But after that, things started changing because the center became more than a place to have food. So we started receiving classes in community area and spiritual classes. And even though that I used to go to a church before being at the Compassion Center, so church, the center make more sense for me whenever they share about the Bible and about God, because as I grew up at church, I was like, I'm Christian, so I grew up at church. But going to the Compassion Center, I realized that because I grew up at church, I was not Christian yet. So being over there just became a family for me. Spend time out, with friends over there because I could not spend time outside my neighborhood. Now I have friends. They make activities, go to a summer camp, they really changed my life. And at the moment I started going to the Compassion Center, I started having hope and dreams, because now I didn't have to worry about we're gonna have lunch for tomorrow or not. And my brother wasn't at a Compassion Center, and me. So my mom was kind of relieved for us to have a space, and for us to also, for her to be able to provide in another different way.
So I've been to events, Christian concerts or something, where they'll have either Compassion or some other nonprofit organization share, and they bring out the cards of kids. And I always thought, okay, I give money to not that kid just represents some kid in some other country. What does sponsorship actually mean to you?
Oh, it is I always say it is a discipleship. When you sponsor a kid, that photos that you see is the real child that you're sponsoring. In my case, I get my sponsor when I was around 9 years old, and I was happy. I didn't know what sponsor means, but I was like, I'm going to receive letters now. And kids are really happy when they receive letters, because we receive photos, all of these letters from someone far away that you don't know, but they are taking the time to write letters to you. In my case, my sponsors, they are from North Carolina, and they were intentional on their letters. They do discipleship through their letters. They always share Bible verse. They always share about their family. But also in my experience was also the way the bill, because it was a couple bill, the way that he do kind of this, he was kind of a father for me. I didn't have a dad, so he always sending me encouragement word, always telling me, hey, I'm praying for you, I'm praying for your dad. I know you can do great things. I know that God will build that relationship with you and your dad. And for me, that was one of the main things that God used I can rebuild my relationship with my dad. So the letters and the sponsorship means the word for me. So they were really intentional with the letters, and they do that discipleship through the letters that they sent me.
If someone was on the fence, they're like, that sounds good, but maybe they're on the fence about sponsoring a child in another country who they may or may not ever meet, what would you say to them?
I would say like sometimes it's hard to make decisions like that, like probably in a brief moment. But I would say like Bill and Mary, they hear the call and they decide to change our life. They never imagined that I will became the person that I am now. And I will want to tell you, when you decide to sponsor a kid, it's not just that kid. You're just changing an entire family. Because my family were changed by people at the center, at the church, but also my sponsors who always were taking care of me through the letters and through the money that they sent. So when you think in a sponsor child, think is what is the future that kids will have if they are part of the program, if they are part of that church. So sometimes hard, but don't hesitate to hear the call of God. So ask God if that's your calling. And for sure, I know that you will be changing an entire family. Right now, and Mary, my beautiful wife, is over here. And all of that is because the people are at the church and my sponsors. I saw what was a main figure in my sponsor Bill with the photos that they sent me and how he speak about his families and his wife. So that was a way also that I can learn how to be a husband and also be a future father whenever we have kids. So thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much for being here, man. Appreciate you.